Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC 275, and in the main event, we have Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prochazka for the light heavyweight title, and this is going to be my full breakdown and prediction for this fight. I'm doing a bunch of other UFC 275 prediction videos, and I'm the only MMA channel that does 4K content, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the prediction videos. And also, guys, if you want to support the channel, you can become a member of the channel. The link is down in the description. There's a bunch of benefits, but one of the benefits is our members-only Discord, where we chat directly live during UFC 275. So if you want to sign up, support the channel, the link is down in the description. So this light heavyweight fight is an absolute amazing stylistic matchup. And you have old man Glover versus young Jiri Prochazka. And this is a fight that you have Glover Teixeira, who literally could be one fight away from retirement. He's a guy that is 42 years old. He just won the title. My guess is he might stick around, see, if he can earn a lot of money while he has the title, keep winning fights. But the second I think he loses, and if he loses, let's say he gets brutally KO'd by someone, I think Glover Teixeira will most likely hang it up. It's crazy how long he's been around. And then you have Jiri Prochazka, who goes from the prelims to then a main event of a fight night card to now the main event of a pay-per-view fighting for a title, all in the span of 2 fights. Absolutely insane. So if you look at the tail of the tape for this fight, Glover Teixeira is 42 years old. Jiri Prochazka is 29. Teixeira is 6'2". Prochazka is 6'3". Teixeira has a 76-inch reach. Prochazka has an 80-inch reach. So you have Jiri Prochazka, who is 13 years younger and has a slight height and reach advantage. If you look at Glover Teixeira's career, and his UFC career in particular, he's been in the UFC for 10 years. He made his UFC debut against Kyle Kingsbury back at UFC 146 in May of 2012, which is just absolutely insane because Glover Teixeira was actually late coming into the UFC because he had perpetual visa issues. When he finally came into the UFC, a lot of people were excited about his UFC debut, and he went out there and absolutely wrecked Kyle Kingsbury. Then he beat Fabio Maldonado, Quentin Rampage Jackson, James Tahuna, Ryan Bader. He TKO'd Ryan Bader, which was a big win, which earned him a title shot against Jon Jones. And this is absolutely insane because he fought Jon Jones 8 years ago, lost that title fight, and to claim a title so many years later, 7 years later, to get another title opportunity, and not only get that opportunity, but to win the belt is absolutely insane. At UFC 172 against Jon Jones, I actually went to that event live. Jon Jones just beat him soundly for 5 rounds. That was when Jon Jones debuted that elbow wrench that he used within the Glover Teixeira fight. But he just went out there, he clinched up with Glover Teixeira and really beat him up in the clinch, and then picked him apart on the outside when they weren't clinched. And then you have a little bit of trouble for Glover Teixeira. He goes out there, gets out-wrestled by Phil Davis. Then he goes on a 3-fight win streak. Not the greatest 3-fight win streak. OSP, Patrick Cummings, Rashad Evans on the tail end of his career. And then he fights Anthony Rumble Johnson. And at this point in time, Anthony Rumble Johnson was kind of making his run towards the title. And he got brutally KO'd by Anthony Rumble Johnson in the first 20 seconds of the first round. I think it was an uppercut that just slapped him, knocked his mouthpiece out all in one. But Anthony Rumble Johnson at this point in time was probably the scariest light heavyweight on the planet. So it was really no shame in losing to him. But this was kind of when Glover Teixeira went on a little bit of a career slide. He won his next fight against Jared Cannonier when Jared Cannonier was at light heavyweight, which actually is a solid win. You see where Jared Cannonier is now fighting for a middleweight title. And then he fought Alexander Gustafsson. And in this fight, this was probably Glover Teixeira's worst performance. He just kept getting clipped by that uppercut over and over and over again and got finished in the 5th round. He has a win over Misha Sakonov. I don't know how much that really means. A loss to Corey Anderson back in 2018. And since then, he's gone on a 6-fight win streak. He beat Carl Roberson by submission. He beat Ian Kutalaba by submission. He beat Nikita Krylov by split decision. Not the greatest performance there. And then he beat the living shit out of Anthony Smith. And Anthony Smith, some people like to crap on Anthony Smith's skill set. Anthony Smith is a very good fighter and had some decent moments in that fight, but Glover Teixeira, as the fight went on, just took over and just was able to take Anthony Smith down, control him in the top position, and just brutalize him with ground and pound. This was where, a lot of people criticize Anthony Smith's corner for not stopping the fight because Glover was just holding him down and just beating him up. Glover Teixeira has amazing ground and pound. Then he goes out against Thiago Santos. He eats some shots, gets hurt like twice within this fight, and then he's able to do what Glover Teixeira does. He takes you down, beats you up on the ground, and then looks for the submission. He submitted Thiago Santos after weathering the early storm, submits him in the third round via rear naked choke, and he gets his title shot. He's now on a 5-fight win streak. He gets his title shot against Jan Blachowicz, and I actually picked against Glover. I was very big on Glover when he first came into the UFC. I think I might have even picked him over John Jones way back at UFC 172. But I actually picked against Glover in the Thiago Santos fight and the Jan Blachowicz fight. He fought Jan Blachowicz at UFC 267. This was his last fight, October of last year. And I just thought Jan Blachowicz has good enough grappling. He'd be able to stuff the takedowns. And Glover Teixeira, even though he is a decent striker, Jan Blachowicz just has that legendary Polish power. And I thought Jan Blachowicz would be able to KO him, TKO him. But that was not the case. Glover Teixeira made Jan Blachowicz's grappling look awful. He just single leg, took him down, controlled him on the ground. Luckily, Jan Blachowicz in the first round was able to keep his guard closed, and Glover Teixeira couldn't advance because we saw what happened in the second round. So basically, Glover Teixeira just controlled Jan Blachowicz in the first round, basically for the entire round, landed some elbows, landed some decent ground and pound. Then in the second round, Jan Blachowicz was able to keep it on the feet, defend a couple takedowns, land a couple combinations. But Glover Teixeira is just relentless with his grappling, shoots in on him, takes him down, and then just treats him like an absolute baby on the ground, gets the back, flattens him out, and just rear naked chokes him. Jan Blachowicz taps so fast. Glover Teixeira wins the light heavyweight title at 42 years old. Who would have thought that at 42 years old, Glover Teixeira wins the title? Well, now he's fighting Jiri Prochazka, who's 29 years old. He has 3 losses. He's 28-3 in his MMA career. He has never lost in the UFC, but he's only had 2 fights in the UFC. It's crazy. He fought on the prelims of UFC 251 against Volkan Ozdemir, and he was actually clipped a couple times in this first fight, in this first round of this fight, hurt, and he was able just to recover, keep wading forward, hands down, dangerously eating shots. And in the second round, he clips Volkan Ozdemir and just shuts his lights out. His lifeless body just falls to the ground. And then his most recent fight, and it's crazy, Jiri Prochazka has been out for over a year. His last fight was in May of 2021. He fought Dominic Reyes. What an amazing fight while it lasted, and one of my favorite fights of last year. Jiri Prochazka just wading forward like an absolute madman, a savage, throwing crazy shots, getting countered by Dominic Reyes, but just eating the shots and just continuing to move forward. A crazy variety attack, teep kicks to the body, throwing uppercuts, throwing flying knees, spinning elbows. And eventually in that second round, he clips Dominic Reyes with a spinning elbow and just puts him to sleep. And in this fight, he faced some adversity too. He got hurt badly in the second round. I think it was a right hand by Dominic Reyes. And Jiri Prochazka initiated the grappling. Dominic Reyes was looking for a guillotine on Jiri. Eventually, Jiri escaped that guillotine, started landing some nasty ground and pound. Didn't even care to cement the top position. And that's when Dominic Reyes scrambled to the feet. And eventually, that was like a minute or so, 30 seconds or so, before the actual finish from Jiri Prochazka. In the first round, though, Jiri Prochazka, showed a little bit of grappling deficiencies. He was taken down by Dominic Reyes. Jiri Prochazka's last loss was against Muhammad Lal back in 2015, but this was on a night where he fought twice in the same night. In the same night, he had a win over Vadim Nemkov. This was a grueling fight that went on for 10 minutes, and Vadim Nemkov quit in between rounds. There's 10-minute first rounds in Rizin. But Jiri Prochazka is also a guy that he turned down a UFC contract earlier in his career. Like, he decided he wanted to come in and he wanted to fight top guys right away. So he kind of waited. He fought in Rizin, for a while, and then eventually he made his UFC debut. I mean, how many fighters are making their UFC debut against a number 7 ranked fighter? That's what Jiri Prochazka did. He made his debut against Volkan Ozdemir. I'm very high on Volkan Ozdemir, or at least was at the time. And that's a tough matchup. And he went out there, ate Volkan Ozdemir shots, defended some takedowns towards the end of the first round, and then absolutely slept him. So moving on to my prediction of this fight. And this is a fight that I've talked about on many videos, many live chats, and I've been 50-50 because I could really see this fight going either way, and I can see people being split on who do they see winning this fight. Because on one hand, Glover Teixeira is perpetually getting hurt. He's eaten a lot of damage over the course of his career. In the Thiago Santos fight, he got rocked. He's perpetually getting rocked in like every single fight. He's been knocked out a few times. But at the same time, if Glover Teixeira drags you to the ground, he can give you a career-altering beating until eventually you give up that neck and you get submitted or the referee steps in. I see multiple paths to victory for Glover Teixeira. I could see Glover winning by decision. I could see Jiri getting reckless, wading in like an absolute crazy madman and getting clipped by Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira has power in his hands and he has decent striking. I can also see Glover Teixeira winning by TKO ground and pound. I could see Glover Teixeira submitting Jiri Prochazka on the ground. Jiri Prochazka, he has great cardio, great volume. I could see him KOing Glover Teixeira or TKOing him. I doubt that Jiri probably wins a decision. I think if Yuri's winning this fight, most likely he will probably TKO or KO Glover Teixeira. It's just such a tough fight to pick because Jiri has shown grappling deficiencies in the past where he's been able to be taken down. He was taken down by Dominic Reyes. He was taken down by Vadim Nemkov in Rizin, and I'm sure he's been taken down in plenty of other fights that I haven't seen as well. I haven't seen all of Jiri Prochazka's Rizin fights. So this is such a tough fight to pick. I've flipped back and forth. I am going to go Jiri Prochazka via first round KO. I just think the laws of statistics, Glover Teixeira has now gone 6 fights in a row. In a lot of these fights he's been rocked and he's been able to survive. And I just think Jiri Prochazka with his wild style, and I know this same theory could apply to Jiri Prochazka because he was hurt in the Dominic Reyes fight and he was hurt in the Volkan Ozdemir fight as well. And he gets very reckless. But I think Jiri Prochazka, with his variety of attacks, I think he's going to wade forward. I think he's going to be throwing teep kicks to the body. I think he's going to be throwing like an absolute madman. And I think he's going to clip Glover. And I think Glover's going to get the lights shut out eventually. He continues to get hit on the chin. I think he's getting up there in age. I think he's far slower than Jiri Prochazka. And I think Jiri is just going to find a way to KO Glover Teixeira early. But I have my worries. I really think, Jiri Prochazka gets reckless and he can get clipped, which I mentioned before. The way he throws combinations and volume sometimes, he'll just square up his stance and throw crazy hooks from both sides of his body. He's perpetually switching stances. I feel like Glover Teixeira can easily take advantage of that and take him down. And also, Jiri Prochazka has shown when he does get taken down, he likes to try to power out of these positions. And if you give up your back to Glover Teixeira, he gave up his back to Dominic Reyes. If you give up your back to Glover Teixeira, it's most likely over. So I could totally see Teixeira getting him down, holding him down, controlling him on the ground, and Jiri Prochazka trying to power out of it, trying to scramble out of it. And Glover Teixeira, if he gets Jiri Prochazka's back, most likely he's going to choke him out via rear naked choke. It's just going to happen. And just if Glover gets him down in general, Glover has amazing top game. Amazing. He's just able to suffocate you on top. He'll throw nasty ground and pound shots, but then the second you try to scramble out, he'll cement the position and re-get a hold of your legs or your arms or whatever he needs to do, wrist control, to keep you on the bottom position. And Glover Teixeira is just a master at that. And I could totally see it happening, but the variety of attack, the youth, the speed, the fact that Jiri Prochazka constantly has his hands down at his waist, I think he's definitely been training nonstop to defend the takedown. You can't become an amazing wrestler overnight, but Jiri knows that Glover Teixeira needs to take him down in this fight. And I'm curious in this fight if he comes in a little bit more measured. That's what I'm genuinely curious about, because Jiri Prochazka just tends to just wade forward, throw crazy combinations. Is he worried that if he does that, we've seen it in the past where you have a guy who's a better striker, but because of the threat of the wrestling, the guy who's considered the lesser striker is able to take advantage of him. And, we've seen in the past, Glover Teixeira can put people to sleep with his hands on the feet. And I could see Jiri Prochazka wading into one of those shots, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Jiri is going to be very well aware that Glover Teixeira is going to be looking for the takedown. I think he's been training that nonstop. I think he's training to avoid those positions. Obviously he's training to defend them as well, but I think he's going to try to use his footwork, use his speed, just to keep Glover Teixeira off him, because even though Glover Teixeira is very good at getting the takedowns, he has to get to your legs. He has to get to your hips first. And I think Jiri Prochazka is training to just not end up in those positions. And I think because of his youth, because of his speed, because of his hands, because of his flying knees, because of his just unorthodox style in general, I think he will be able to avoid Glover Teixeira even getting into the position to be able to take him down. But when you wade forward the way he does and you have the pressure that he does, you leave yourself susceptible. Glover Teixeira could potentially shoot through him, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Jiri Prochazka, the young in this sport, we perpetually see the young eating the old. And I think at UFC 275, we will see 29-year-old Jiri Prochazka defeat Glover Teixeira, and I think it's going to be a brutal first-round KO. Jiri Prochazka just has such a variety of attacks. I don't know what shot's going to put Glover Teixeira out, because the guy's throwing flying knees. He's throwing jumping front kicks. He's throwing wild winging hooks. He's throwing nasty power straight right, straight lefts. He's perpetually switching stances. He's chopping at the legs. Jiri Prochazka, he has such a variety of attacks, the spinning back elbow, spinning back fist. I just think Jiri Prochazka is going to brutally KO him. Might even be a head kick. He rocked Volkan Ozdemir. That's what started the finish for him against Volkan Ozdemir, was a head kick that rocked Glover Teixeira. But we'll have to see. We're a little less than a week away. We're going to get to see Jiri Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira. And regardless, whoever wins this fight, even if I'm right, I'm wrong, I think that it will probably be a dominant win for whoever wins. Like, if Glover Teixeira is able to get Jiri down and dominate him on the ground, I think he will win dominantly via a TKO ground and pound or a rear naked choke. If Jiri Prochazka is able to keep Glover off his legs and stuff the takedowns, I think Jiri Prochazka is just going to look like he's on another level against Glover Teixeira. But at the same time, I could see either one of those possibilities happening. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.